Mad Mikeey Gaming.
What is up, all you mad gamers? I'm Mad Mikeey, and in case you didn't know, I come from the bloody land down under. And in today's gaming news reactions and opinions, the show where I go around the internet and grab bits of internet information from the websites that I enjoy, and I then deliver my reactions and opinions directly to you guys on here. So don't forget, guys, if you do go on to like today's video, give it a thumbs up and be a mate and give it a subscribe, give it a share, because you know I like those kinds of things. Now, first bit in today's news, and I kid you not, as soon as I finished yesterday's video, as soon as I started uploading it to YouTube, email appears. And what does it say? Ataribox. Brand new pics and info. And I was like, do I go back? And I was like, nah, just leave it till tomorrow, guys. So, Atari has released some new information and some new images on the whole Ataribox that is now slated to be coming out sometime next year. And the details about the Atari are that is going to be powered by an AMD customized processor with Radeon graphics technology. It's going to run Linux with a customized, easy to use interface, which this approach means that as well as being a great gaming device, Ataribox will be a full PC experience for the TV, bringing you streaming, applications, social, browsing, music, and more. Most TV devices have closed systems and content stores. Linux lets us be more open, and you can access and customize the OS, and you can access games you've bought with other content platforms, if available to operate off of the OS. And what I found really weird, that we're launching Ataribox on Indiegogo this fall. Read pretty soon. To reiterate why we want you, Balboa, the Atari community, to be part of this launch. We want you to have early access, grab special editions and pricing apparently, and to have you as active partners in the rollout of the Ataribox. We want you to be part of history, or rehistory. We plan on shipping date late 2018 with an expected price range of $249 to $299 US. We hope that you like what we're sharing and are ready for lots more in the weeks coming ahead. So it's basically like just a new Steam box with Atari branding, isn't it? I'm still pretty excited about this. I'm quite interested for a bit more information. They did sort of go on and say, yes, the wood is real, so that's freaking awesome in my books. Very retro. I still like the look of the console. Like the pictures that I've shown, it looks really small. It looks like it doesn't fit in, because I mean, who uses a lot of wood paneling and everything these days? But I love it. It's gonna just be a majestic little thing. It's going to be interesting because my Samsung TV, and it looks like this is what Steam's starting to do these days, and it's the fact that they're installing the Steam Link into the TVs. My 4K TV, Samsung, all sort of, I think they said 2016 Samsung TVs and onwards, we're actually getting that as an app. So I can actually just chuck in the little USB dongle from wherever, and I can play on the TV through it. And like, Wi-Fi is pretty good from my house. I haven't sort of set it up where I've got those cat cables all over the place. So look, this will be interesting. I'm quite looking forward to it. It would be nice if, because it looks so small, it would be nice if you can sort of just hook it up to your current PC and transfer stuff over. But as they said, it is Linux, so who knows. You guys still excited about this Ataribox? It seems like every time, it didn't seem like they reported much about it as the first time that they released the bits of info. But hey, that just could be me. And in a really interesting little chat, Bethesda today have sort of labeled gamers, well, the online culture is way too toxic. And I got to agree with them. With all those keyboard warriors out there in the world just giving single word responses, or just "you're shit," "oh, that game's crap," give them a reason why. Have a conversation with somebody, because that's what's lacking in this world at the moment. Conversation. That's why I come on here. I want to try and have a conversation with you guys as much as I can on my social medias, or just comment down below. But this is what was actually spoken about. And so it was last weekend, former Ubisoft and BioWare veteran Charles Randall explained that when the default response to gaming discussion involves hostility and harassment, developers usually respond by not engaging with anyone outside of the industry. The other day, a friend commented to me, "I wish the developers were more candid about development." Randall wrote on Twitter, "He was surprised when I said that we are. The cravat is that we're only candid with other industry people. Because gamer culture is so toxic and being candid in public is dangerous. See any thread where some dumbass comments about how easy it would be, say add multiplayer or change engines. Any dev who talks candidly about the difficulty of something like that just triggers a wave of people questioning their entire resume. AKA what just happened over at BioWare with Mass Effect Andromeda, with the person who said that they were actually lead designer of animations and stuff. Geez, they ripped that poor lady down pretty quickly. There are still topics that I can't touch because I was candid once and it resulted in dumb headlines, misunderstandings, and harassment," he continued. "All the stuff you ever wanted to know about game development would be out there if not for the toxic gaming community," he continues. "We love to talk about development, the challenges we face, the problems we solve, the shortcuts we take, but it's almost never worth it." Fair enough. And he said, he went on to then finally say, "I did a public talk a couple of weeks ago with a room full of kids, and afterwards a kid came up to me talking about stuff, and I shit you not, the kid, somewhere between 13 to 16 I'd guess, starts talking about how bad devs are because of a YouTuber he watches. He nailed all the points, bad engines, being greedy, you name it. I was appalled. I did my best to tell him that all those things people freak out about are normal and have justifications. I hope I got through a bit, but I expect he went back to consuming toxic culture via YouTube personalities and one day probably harass a dev over nonsense." As I was sort of saying before, like, the world is really missing a lot of conversation, and that's part of why I did start this YouTube channel. I want to have a conversation with a lot of people. I've got friends that I talk to about video games where we can just sit there and have a good conversation about games, what we like, what we don't like, what we think that they can fix. I know that sounds a bit funny when I'm sort of talking and probably talking a bit of crap about the guys who were making the Friday the 13th game from yesterday. But if you'd notice, I'd sort of say that I think that they really missed an opportunity to put their footstep in the franchise and do something different, because as I said, Friday the 13th has never been really a story-driven franchise. Well, why don't you change that? Why don't you do something different? But hey, I could just be one of those dumbasses out there. What do I know? I try not to bag out too many people as much as I can. I do react quite angrily sometimes, but hey, these guys are people as well, so don't forget that. You're never too important to ruin somebody's day. Just remember that. And also, in a bit of bad, really bad, I'm not happy about news today. Sony Interactive President Andrew House sees a handheld market as limited and has basically said that the PlayStation Vita will never see a sequel. And that makes me sad, because I really love the PlayStation Vita. I think they did a lot of good things with that, but I think that they did do a lot of bad things, like having their own proprietary memory stick, and it only went to a certain amount. Whereas nowadays, I mean, mate, I would be spending so much money on that PlayStation Vita store if they would let me just buy a random bloody SD card, put it in there, and start buying all the games up on there. Because let's face it, when you have a portable game system, you just want to be able to put your games on there. I do sort of applaud the fact that they're not reacting straight away to the success of the Nintendo Switch and just saying, yeah, we're going to come out with a Vita 3 or Vita 2, sorry, or whatever next handheld console we want to call it, and sort of just really compete with them, because they did that when Nintendo Wii brought out motion controls, and look how that all turned out. But he did sort of say the Vita experience was that outside of Japan and Asia there was not a huge demand. He continued, the lifestyle shift between the dominance of the smartphones and as the single key device that is always with you was a determining factor. Which is fair enough, because a lot of people in the world, you do see just, I mean, like, I generally take my Vita and my 3DS out with me for the train rides. I'll occasionally take out the Nintendo Switch with me. But I just find myself in the train before work, after work, I'm tired, I just want to sit, do my social medias. Not so much for gaming. That's my personal preference. What do you guys use your phones for? Let me know. I don't think that the phone batteries these days are good enough still to this day to be able to put a proper game like a Vita or a 3DS or a Nintendo Switch in your hands so that you can play it. But then again, are you ever traveling long enough to actually need it for that much? And just into the last bit of news, which is quick news. Somebody's actually found an abandoned smartwatch. It was apparently an Xbox one. So I'll show the pictures now. It is rumoured that it was in development back in 2013. The potential device was rumoured to be slated for release in 2015, but instead we saw a quite different looking Microsoft Band hit shelves in 2014. The prototype features Xbox branding, which is unclear, although it could have been designed to interact with the now defunct Xbox Fitness app. So the Fitness app was a free game sort of thing that you could get with the Xbox One. It was there for Kinect. So obviously this could very well have been something like that. I don't know. It looks like, because I've got a Fitbit, that looks like the back of my Fitbit. So for heart rates and everything like that. So I think that yes, they probably played around with it, but I think ultimately they made the right decision not to, because there's so many bloody of these fitness bands out there now. But that is it for today's gaming news reactions and opinions. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've got 2 days off, so I'm going to get a lot of gaming in on that time. Obviously, I'll be able to come out to you guys, but also I am planning to get a schedule out to you guys more along the lines of what I'm going to be doing, when I'm going to be doing it, when you can expect certain shows, and actually a bit of streaming involved as well. So guys, I'll see you all hopefully tomorrow if there's any gaming news that I want to talk to you guys about. But until then guys, enjoy the games you're watching and I'll see you later. Bye guys.